The real number system, an overview. The real numbers can be classified in several ways. Following are several sets of numbers that are found within the real numbers. First, we start with the natural numbers, which are sometimes known as the counting numbers. These are, of course, the ones that you're used to counting with. These are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to positive infinity. In more formal notation, we write these in the following way. N equals the following set. You can see we start with 1, then we go on to 2, 3, 4, and then these three dots, or an ellipsis it's called, indicates that this goes on forever all the way up to positive infinity. The whole numbers are basically an extension of the natural numbers to include the zero. You can see the only difference here is that we've included a zero, but the numbers do in fact continue all the way up to positive infinity. Now, of course, zero, as you'll see in the video for this unit, has a very interesting history. It wasn't thought of until many centuries after the other numbers were invented. It was basically an afterthought. It wasn't understood why it was so important, although as it turns out, not having a zero was one of the main reasons why we no longer use Roman numerals. The integers, which we use on a very regular basis, for the first time include negative numbers. Okay, so you notice with the naturals and the whole numbers, there were no negative numbers, but now that's going to change. Like the natural or whole numbers, there are no fractional parts, but we do allow now for negative numbers. And you can see from the set, they start now at negative infinity, they work their way up to zero, and then they continue up into the positive numbers, and they continue going on up to positive infinity. Now, the natural numbers, the whole numbers, and the integers are all members of a special set, which is known as the rational numbers. Now, you can see in the word rational, we have the word ratio. Okay, and there's a reason for that. A rational number is simply a number that can be expressed as the ratio of two integers, and they do not have to be positive integers. For example, 3 is an example of a rational number because it is the ratio of 3 over 1. Negative 2 also counts as rational because we can rewrite that as negative 2 over 1. 1.7, that one counts too. You can see that this is the same as 17 tenths. Negative 40.42 is the ratio of negative 42 over 100. Then finally, 0 is a rational number as well because we can think of it as 0 over any other integer that we choose. And then finally, we have the irrational numbers. If a number is not rational, it has to be irrational, and all that means is that it cannot be expressed as the ratio of two integers. So some examples that you've seen before are pi. E, maybe you've seen that before or maybe not, is equal to approximately 2.7183. And then, of course, we have the square root of 3.